Welcome to STIPCO Live. Today's segment brought to you by USA Today. We've got ourselves a presidential candidate. Long overdue, I might add, although I'm still undecided, but maybe something will change here today.
I'll get you, man.
Governor Buddy Roemer is here, a presidential candidate, and I'll let him explain the party situation that he's got going on. And Governor, thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Good to be here.
Last time I saw you, you were explaining to me what was happening up in Boston with your party change or potential change.
Right.
Some things have happened.
Well, you know, it was whispered even then, and that's been 2 months ago.
Right.
That I had certain problems with the Republican Party and might have to opt out of the party and run in a different fashion. Now, it's my belief then and now that the country has some difficulties that need to be addressed. Budget problems, we have a debt we can't pay. Tax problems, we have a tax code we can't understand, and it's not fair. Unfair trade with China, it needs to be addressed. Immigration reform, health reform, bank reform, all these things need to be done. But the key thing to me is campaign reform. I think Washington is not only broken, it's bought. That a big check writes the tax code. So we talked about that 2 months ago, and I found it very difficult to run for president when I was not asked to be on a single nationally televised debates. The Republicans have had 21 debates nationally televised. I'm the only one running in the party who has been elected a governor and a congressman.
Now, I know you've got a really talented staff. Surely you or your staff has reached out to those in charge and said, hey, what's the story?
Believe me, we have reached out to the sponsor of every debate, to the manager of every debate.
Because it's their call, right? They pick who comes on.
It's their call.
There's
no law that says Buddy Roemer has to be in the debate.
Right.
I mean, there's no law that says just because I built a $1 billion bank and created a couple 100,000 jobs and balanced the budget as governor and worked with Ronald Reagan in Congress when I was a Democrat leading the boll weevils. There's no reason that Buddy Roemer or law that says he has to be in the debate. But since I was the only one running for president, Democrat or Republican, who had that kind of experience, right, and have been successful at it. I don't want to exaggerate this. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I've got things I wish I could have done differently. But I like my record. It's an honest record and a good record. And yet I was not asked to a single debate. And to answer your question, we've called, before every debate, we call and say, look, he's at 4% in this poll. And he's the only person that hadn't been on a debate. All the other people at 5% or 3% or 8% or 20% have been on debates. They've gotten publicity. Roemer's gotten nothing. Do you think he ought to be included in the debate? And they always have a reason. I'm not high enough in the polls. Well, how do you get higher unless you're in the debate? Right. I haven't raised enough money. You know, I'm the only person running that doesn't take PAC money. I don't take super PAC money. $100 is my limit. I mean, I have very strict rules. Right. I'm old-fashioned. I think a president ought to be free to lead. I don't think a president ought to build a party. Yeah, you're not party building. No, I think you ought to build a nation. Anyway, that's my belief, and it's been very frustrating when we last talked about not including the debate. Since then, I decided to drop out of the Republican contest for president and to run as an independent. I was a Democrat for 20 years in Congress, and as a young man, I changed parties. I blame Ronald Reagan. He was great. I loved working with him. Right. So I said, as governor, I'd like to have a two-party state in Louisiana, and we'll change parties, and I did. And that was 21 years ago. So about every 20 years, it seems, I rethink this party situation. And I've decided now that what America needs, in my opinion, is a president free to lead and one that's designated to reach across party lines, put a unity team together, and rebuild America. So that's what I'm doing under the banner of Americans Elect. That's where we are today.
Fantastic.